energy as well as enhancing the energy efficiency. So this is what government is doing. This is what the world over is doing. Now what we can do. So these I will skip little faster, but here I would like to give you some idea that why energy efficiency is one of the most important aspect for combating the climate change. You know, 68.13% of the GHG emission is from the energy sector. Even if I increase the efficiency of energy sector by 10%, I will be able to reduce the GHG emission by 6% directly. And that is the reason why a lot of importance is given today for the energy efficiency in the industry, whether it is industry, building, transportation, lighting, weather control, street lights, logistic, and heating, cooling, manufacturing, etc. You see, like LED bulb, that initiative given by the Ujala initiative. Then various substitute the fossil fuel by this by the gas, free distribution of the gas. All those things, all those activities, whatever has been taken is for the commitment we have made to the world, as well as to support our climate change action. And that is the reason. You see, who can reduce the who can improve the energy efficiency? Most probably engineers. We all engineers can work together to find out better energy efficient equipment, better energy efficient processes. And that is the reason why when doctors Parikh was telling the catalyst is also one of the element which can reduce your energy consumption in any of the process. And you will learn a lot of other green technology where ultimately those green technology are trying to reduce the energy consumption in the process. So what government have given the Energy Conservation Act, and under this act, now Bureau of Energy Efficiency is have developed the several engineers, almost 20,000 engineers. They are certified for the energy audit for improving the energy efficiency, as well as the Bureau of Energy Efficiency have given the one tool or one say like they have given one you can say that is called PAT, perform, achieve and trade. So that is a tool given to the industries by which they can improve their performance and gain some more benefit from the government. And that is now applicable to almost 1,500 industries, large industries, and slowly government will cover more and more industries in these for ultimately reducing the energy and improving our climate change quotient. So these will skip fast. There is a National Action Plan on Climate Change and National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency for 4 E's like energy efficiency, equity and environment. So there are four wings of the National Mission on Enhanced Energy Efficiency. The one is a PAT, what I said earlier. Second is EEFP, that is Energy Efficiency Financing Platform. Third is the MTEE, Market Transformation for the Energy Efficiency. That is what Ujala, SEEP and other initiatives were taken. And fourth is a framework for energy efficient economic development. That is ultimately you have to go for the economic development of the country and that for which some framework has been given by the government so that industry work on it and improve upon their energy performance. So now this is a PAT, like in PAT, what is it done? Say the government established the baseline energy consumption of every industry. Then they set the target for reduction of energy. Like if I am consuming 5 million kilocalorie per ton of my product, they give me the target that over the next 3 years you have to reduce by about 6 to 7%, and then they monitor. And if I achieve more than 7%, more than target, I'll be given some credit of the ESOT, which I can sell into the market and gain some money. So this is a very good tool given by the government for the industry, and most of the industries are working on it. So this is just a basic idea of the, but this energy and energy management is the most important thing. Okay, it will give you almost 30% reduction in on the impact of the climate. Like today, whatever GHG emission is taking place, if you focus on the energy management and energy efficiency, almost 30% reduction you can achieve. And that is the reason why a lot of stress has been given on the energy efficiency. And we engineer only can help. No one else can help. Engineer and scientists can help in improving the energy efficiency. And my suggestion to you, think over it. Can you develop your career as an energy auditor or energy manager? Each industry is now looking for at least 1 or 2 energy auditor, energy manager in their area. And if you can develop your career in this area, perhaps there is a lot of scope available in the industry. So let me tell you, said here what we'll see, we'll just look at the energy management system in general, various strategic initiative what industry is taking. Third is what are the ways and means for reducing the electrical energy consumption? What are the ways and means to reduce the thermal energy consumption? Okay, so energy management self-assessment. Say before you carry out any energy management, you have to assess yourself. How? Number one is, if your energy consumption is higher, you will run and try to find out reason. So that is what is a first aid. Then there are several government initiatives.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Initiative term coined today by the various large industries. One more thing I would like to tell you about energy management pyramid. Said this is a pyramid on the energy management. What we are looking today is the bottom of the pyramid. That is what advances in technology, development in alternate and renewable energy, your skill enhancement and networking, and energy portal and energy network. But you will not be able to sustain your effort unless you have got monitoring, auditing, benchmarking, and reporting. You should have some tools available like pinch analysis and several tools. And ultimately you have to identify various energy efficiency improvement project. We'll see in the next few strategic initiatives on these aspects. And ultimately your management should have the vision and mission, strategy and annual plan. So unless this pyramid having the enablers which you are learning now, operating practices and direction setting initiatives where the management is there, perhaps this effort will not be sustained. Now, one of the strategic initiatives is now all of you must be aware about the ISO framework, right? ISO 9001, 14001, now 45001. Similarly, there is ISO 50001 framework, that is what is called Energy Management System Initiatives. So that framework is given by the ISO system, which define the significant aspect or significant energy consumers of your plant, your system. And then you carry out the operation control, maintenance practices, monitoring.
Hello, participants. Sir is audible to all of you? Hello.
No, sir.
Yeah, there is some technical problem. Yes, yes. Please wait for a few minutes. I think from sir side there is, certain technical problem. Please wait.
Technical issue.
Hello, Naina ma'am.
Sir, should I call him?
I think
Hello.
you are able to hear me.
No, sir.
Hello, sir.
No, sir.
There was certain
Yeah.
technical problem twice, so you were not audible to all participants. Last
Okay,
3 to
so
4 minutes. Yes.
okay, I'll repeat, but still I am not getting it connected. It is only audio, not you may not be able to see the visualize the slide, it seems.
It is visualized right now.
Slide we can see.
We can visualize the PPT.
Okay.
Now everything is all right now.
Because I am getting, hold on, I am not getting the connectivity.
Okay.
Okay.
We can now
We
it
were
is
on
working,
this-
sir.
It is working, okay. We were on this
Yes.
slide, right? ISO
Yes, yes,
50001 framework.
Yes,
So
sir.
what I was telling you, that ISO 55001 framework is one of the very good framework available for the energy management system. And it starts with the identification of energy significant equipment, and then how you can carry out the operational control and maintenance, how you can monitor and control, and improvement and tracking of those systems. And it also involves the procurement aspect of the equipment, so that you can adopt the energy efficiency in early design and procurement stage of bidding. Why I'm bringing here, because you are looking for the green technology or green chemistry. So when you are taking up the design of any of the process, always look for energy efficient design, so that you need not to say look for improvement at a later stage. Number two strategic initiative, which normally is taken up by the industry, is a benchmarking. The students and the professor must be knowing the benchmarking aspect of the process. So there are three types of benchmarking normally existing in the industry. Number one is the say intra plant benchmarking. I'm not. So number one is the plant energy coordinate intra-site or within the site benchmarking. Number two is the inter-site benchmarking. Number three is a global benchmarking. You know, the good world-class company always look for the global level benchmarking. And in the benchmarking, what we are doing, we identify the gap, whatever is the best in the process and where we stand. And then once you identify the gap, you analyze the gap and try to find out whether you can bridge the gap or not, and communicate to all the levels and find out some action plan so that you can implement those action plan and improve your performance on the energy monitoring. Number three strategic initiative taken up by the various industries is the audit. There are three levels of the audits. Number one is again intra-site, inter-site and statutory audits. And various aspects or various energy consumers audit is taken, including say every equipment. And ultimately you at the end of the audit, you recognize the best energy performer and then improve upon. The fourth strategic initiative taken up by the industry is a monitoring and review system. Nowadays, when I started my career, we started with the monthly or fortnightly monitoring. So every month, and we used to review the data. Then the time has come where we started the weekly and daily monitoring. But today, the time is the real-time monitoring. So suppose if my energy consumption is increasing or decreasing, I should be able to know at the same time and take the corrective action, because whatever I have lost in the process, we will not get back. So real-time monitoring is the talk of the day, and 90% of the company have started real-time monitoring of the energy EIV and KPI, and then they control it and improve upon. Fifth strategic initiative where student might be very much interested nowadays, because nowadays I have seen most of the peer students who were joining me when I was working with Reliance, they were more interested in this various software available and carrying out the work. So several softwares are available nowadays for the energy conservation, starting with the ProSteam. Then for the pinch analysis, Super Target and several other targets software are available. Monitoring and targeting tool, AspenTech is giving us the facility. Similarly, statistical analysis, we used Minitab. Then process simulator, again the AspenTech. Heat exchangers, HTRI. Training simulator, plant specific dynamic training simulator, and utility reconciliation tool. Because I'm bringing this reconciliation tool because unless we know the actual number, we will not be able to monitor and control. So that actual number will come from the reconciliation of various energy consumers, and then you can control them. So we normally do the utility system modeling so that we identify where we should focus more and how to improve upon. So the typical utility model snapshot I have shown here, which involve the complete energy flow in the plant, and then we can optimize and find out where the losses are taking place and reduce the losses. Again, advanced heat integration tool, that is a pinch analysis. Perhaps the student might be interested more in this area. So if you have got very complex process and several consumers and several generators of the energy in the system, and if you are consuming, unless you know what is the pinch point, and unless you know what are the consumers and generators located, perhaps it is difficult that by giving some scheme of the energy saving, it will really lead into the saving of the energy. So there are several tools available. Perhaps student may be interested in applying this tool for the large processes and improve upon their energy performance. These are the 6-7 strategic initiatives what industry is taking so that energy consumption can be reduced. But these energy is again divided into two, that is electrical and thermal. So electrical energy conservation, perhaps chemical engineer may not have learned or may not have identified the scope of improvement, but it is required. Once you go to the industry, there is no such difference of electrical engineer or instrument engineer or mechanical engineer. Chemical engineer is the father of all the branches, and the chemical engineer is supposed to know all these things. So some multidiscipline training is required for all of you. But I will bring you where we can save the electrical energy and why we should save. Suppose if you are generating 1 unit in your power plant at your some of the power plant, and when it is used for some of the use, so it has been observed that there is a several losses. One is at the power plant loss, second is the transmission and distribution loss, and third is the equipment loss, transformer loss. So it has been observed that almost if you are having the one unit of useful energy, you have to generate 2 units of the unit. So almost 50% of the electrical energy is wasted. And that is where we have to work on it so that we can improve upon various losses in the system. Where we can improve upon? So number one is optimization of tariff structure, so that you utilize the energy at the lowest price. Number two is the you should have some load shedding exercise in the complex so that you do not consume peak energy and lead to loss. You may use some places DG set also when your peak load comes, and you have to relocate the transformer to main load so that you see what is happening. Your cable loss is I square R. So if your I is increasing because of the reduction in the voltages, then your losses are increasing. So if you locate your transformer at far away location, your high current cable is being laid, and that lead to the losses. Then you have to correct the power factor, harmonic distortion, then shut off unnecessary because all these computers and other consumer are all non-linear load. So it may lead to the reduction in the power factor as well as harmonic distortion also. And to use the VFD, nowadays VFD cost is very low, and most of the places people are exploring the use of VFD so that energy consumption can be reduced. If you see the distribution of electrical energy consumption, almost in major industry, about 41% go to the pumps, 34% to the compressor, then dryer, agitator, extruder about 13%. So the pumps and compressors are the major area where we have to focus and find out whether we can reduce the energy consumption in those areas. So I'll give you some of the opportunity possibility. Can anyone explain? They have seen the pumps or motors in the field, or they have studied about the pumps? Anyone? Why I am asking here that I want to understand the level of your awareness about the pumps, compressors, and other energy consumer. Can anyone explain? In your fluid flow operation, perhaps you might have studied.
The pumps are used to provide energy to the fluid, take from one point to other.
Pumps
Yes,
are
ma'am.
usually used to transport the fluids from one place to another place.
Another place, yes. So that is used for increasing the head of any of the fluid, so that you can transfer it to the higher head equipment, right? And in that process, you might be consuming some energy in real transportation of the fluid. Plus, there will be a lot of energy loss taking place because of the efficiency of the pumps, motors, and compressors. So, what are those opportunities? Say in the industry, if you go, almost 10% potential is there in the pumps for energy consumption. Look at any pumps, you will find several locations there are double pumping is taking place. Several places you will find the pressure drop is very high in the pipeline. Sometimes you will find the very high head is developed, although it is not required, where you can do some impeller trimming. There are several locations where some segregation can be taken place so that your pumping requirement can be reduced. So if you see the complex process, all these things will be applicable. Nowadays, the new technology like Coro coating in the water service pumps are provided so that your efficiency of the pump improves. Several old pumps are having the poor efficiency. Now new technology, lot of high efficiency pumps are available, right? Operating parameters pumps are available. So we found that replacing the pump by the higher efficiency pump was also very economical. Operation at best efficiency point. Stop running or say several location. If you go to industry, you will find two pumps running. Why? Because for 10% or 20% additional capacity, one additional pump is standby pump is operating. So look at it that whether you can provide small pump or you can provide some booster pump, balance the system to minimize flow and reduce the power requirement. Use siphon effect. Several locations I have seen in my place that gravity flow can also suffice because of the margin given in the design, and we have stopped several locations the pump. And repair of the seal and packing, because these are all the energy consumers, energy losses. Motors, because of the variable load, if you have got the variable load, look for the VFD. Checking for upgradation of potential of, now you see there are several high efficiency motors are available, and these are all termed as IE2, IE3, IE4. Now people are talking about IE5 also, but industry we are using IE3 and IE4 nowadays. If they are old motors, that is all IE2 or IE1. So there are possibility of improving the efficiency by replacing the motors by high efficiency motor. Now during loading of the motor, there are the very high power consumption is taking place. So there are now various provision available so that you can reduce the power during loading. You can use the right sizing of motor. Ventilation of motor is the most important. When you go to many of the industry I have gone after my retirement, and those are all small and medium scale industry, and I have found motors are provided without proper ventilation, so it can heat it up and lead to the high power consumption. And after rewinding also, people don't measure the efficiency. If we measure the efficiency, we'll find some drop in the efficiency, then perhaps replacement of motor will be more economical. Similarly, drivers like VFD or maybe lubricant in the driver or large gearboxes, and eliminate use of eddy current coupling. So these are my advice based on my experience. New technology. Say now say several pumps. What is the efficiency? It is very difficult to measure. So the new technology like the thermodynamic testing is available. We use this testing in large pumps and identified that what is the efficiency and improvement possibility of the efficiency. Some opportunities in the fans and blowers. Several fans and blowers are used in several industries. So VFD is one of the option available for the variable speed. Then you have to give me a couple of minutes. Yes. Sorry for the disturbance. The fans, you are able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay. So for the fans, you have got a lot of option, and I observe about 20% saving can be possible if you optimize your fan by reducing the obstruction, improving the flow distribution, then replacement of the blade with the high efficiency blade. So these are the various options available for the engineer at the time of design as well as at the time of normal operation also to improve the efficiency of their fan. Blowers also almost similar thing. You have to clean the suction filter, which offers a lot of pressure drop. And suppose if you have got the pulley, perhaps I am not a favor of pulley because pulley is always a low efficiency drive. So always look for some other means of transmission of the energy, preferably direct mounted. New technology which is available like a turbo blower. It offers these over PD blower. It offers almost 25 to 40% higher efficiency, and that is what people are now replacing their blower with the turbo blower for improving the efficiency and reducing the energy consumption. Air compressor. Say every industry have got the air compressor network, and they have got multiple air compressor and very complex air network. It can be plant air or instrument air or maybe any other type of air, and there is always a potential saving of up to 25% energy saving by proper loading of their compressor, reducing the leaks, and stopping the non-critical low pressure load and providing small compressors, low head compressors for the non-critical low pressure load. Moisture trap in the compressor. This is one area because if you see any of the industry, you will find multi-stage compressor, the intermediate stage, knockout drum, continuous some air venting is taking place. So you can look for using of the moisture trap. You can look for cleaning of the suction filter so that energy consumption is reduced. You can also look for reducing your discharge pressure based on the requirement, and install the control system for multiple air compressors. And ultimately, leakage is the major enemy of the compressed air energy consumption, and a proper maintenance program should be there. So whenever you go to the industry, try to find out what more you can do so that some energy consumption can take place. Nowadays, for reciprocating air compressor, hydraulically actuated computerized control valves are provided, and this is the valve which can give you the stepless capacity control, and provide you the air as and when it is required at the right quantity, right pressure. HVAC is normally used in most of the control room buildings for air conditioning and air quality control. And we found that air distribution is always inefficient. There is a dirty exchangers, not proper temperature control provided. So all these area which can be improved so that your energy consumption can be reduced. There are several chillers provided in the plant. Chillers is reducing the process air temperature below atmospheric temperature. So there we found multiple pumping. We found that control is not proper, insulation is not proper. So all those area perhaps you can improve upon to reduce the energy consumption. And nowadays APC and smart control to minimize the chiller compressor loading and minimize the hot gas bypass operation. This is one of the area where the engineer can look into it at the time of design itself so that your energy consumption can be minimized. One good technology is available, that is a self-cleaning exchangers. It's not a new one. It was practiced 10 years back also, but it was not very popular. In recent time, it is getting popular so that your cooling water exchanger doesn't get fouled. It uses some of the balls for the self-cleaning or automatic tube brushing system so that your efficiency of the chiller or cooler is not reduced. So by all these things, perhaps ultimately you are targeting to reduce the electrical energy efficiency. But what's about the process and energy efficiency? What should be your approach for improving the energy performance of the process unit? Say where you are using these thermal energy like boiler, furnace, heaters, various heat exchanger network analysis which uses the steam and cooling water. So these so you can minimize the inlet temperature or you can increase the inlet temperature of these various furnaces, or you can reduce these improve the heat exchanger network so that you can recover more and more heat. Operating the distillation column at minimum possible pressure will also reduce the energy consumption. If you can minimize your cooling water temperature, it will reduce the energy consumption of total plant. Some more energy consumption will be there in the cooling tower, but your plant energy consumption will reduce. Use of high efficiency turbine compressor and expander. Minimize circulation, throttling as well as speed of rotary equipment. So like if pump is operating at throttle discharge valve, that shows that you are losing the energy there. You can reduce that throttling by reducing speed of the pump and improve the energy performance. Periodic cleaning of the filters, use of right insulation, identification and stopping of leakage to atmosphere and flare. Replace high level energy by low level energy. See, during design, perhaps to provide the design margin, designer is normally providing you the use of the high level energy. But when you start using it, you have got those margin in hand. And I have seen several places you can replace the high level energy by low level energy, and look for upgradation of technology to energy efficient processes. So these are the various approaches we can practice for improving the energy performance of the process. What are the opportunities in boiler, furnace and heaters? Preheat air, fuel or water by flue gases. Ensure proper insulation of exposed heated surfaces. Impulse oxygen in flue gas below 1.5%. Automate, optimize boiler blowdown. These are all the area where energy losses are taking place, and industry are optimizing all these area so that their energy consumption reduces. Recycle of hot steam condensate. Fix all leaks of steam, fuel and flue gases. Monitor oxygen, CO2, CO to control the excess air. And ultimately you have to establish the energy efficiency maintenance program so that you identify the efficiency loss early and take the corrective action. Now we have seen the process. So there are buildings also, building also is a large energy consumer, and World Green Building Council have decided that they will design only the net zero energy building from 2030 and convert all commercial building to zero net energy building by 2050. So when a chemical engineer is giving some input for design of the building, he must know that what are the various areas where he can provide the input. So like net zero, when you are looking for net zero energy building, there are two areas where you can give the input. Number one is the passive approach. Passive approach means orientation and envelope. Orientation means it should be oriented such that your heat ingress to the building because of the sun energy is minimized. And envelope means you have to provide the material of construction to the building so that your energy loss from the building is minimized, whether it is a cold or hot. So these are the, when I remember I used to give a lot of input while designing of the various control rooms and other things. At that time I did not have this type of knowledge, but yes, if you have got this knowledge of orientation and envelope, perhaps you can start designing the building with energy efficiency in mind. And what are the energy active measures for net zero energy building? One is energy efficiency, maybe air conditioning, lighting, auxiliaries, appliances. Whatever you are using, you have to go for the energy efficiency. We have seen few of these type of HVAC and other thing in our previous slides. And second is renewable energy. So can you provide the energy, renewable energy, on-site renewable energy for the building, like now solar panel or water heater or several other renewable energy you can utilize, minimize the waste generation, or you can generate the energy from the waste. So in the building, like we have installed some of the places canteen waste digester at the nearby the building, so that your energy and that waste generate biogas and utilized in the canteen. So such type of design, perhaps you can think of it. We have seen the approach for HVAC air conditioner, so we will not go into detail. But lights and fans, I would like to bring some more thing, because it's not normally known to the chemical engineer, but it plays a very important role in minimize the energy consumption of the building. So when you give some input, you have to use the natural lights, use of LED lights, excessive illumination should be reduced, so that people are now looking for the task-based lighting. Control of lighting with timer and sensor. See ballast and lamp with high power factor, and lowering of fixture and use of task lighting. Use of light color paint. Say again, those areas, perhaps whenever you are deciding, you may think of it. And use of BLDC fan. So one more thing I would like to bring it to you, that is the active approach for lighting. You see, light pipe, perhaps you might have seen in some of the factories nowadays. Recently, they have started putting the light pipes, and we are also promoting. I am also energy auditor, so we also bring this knowledge to the people so that their natural lighting will suffice and their artificial lighting can be reduced. So this is a very simple thing. You have the top some cover, and these are all vacuumed so that it doesn't transfer the heat, it transfers only light. And then you will find so that picture is not there, but there is a good office where the natural lights are giving the light so that their artificial lights are reduced. And second thing is a BLDC fan, which is now becoming more and more popular for energy consumption, and almost 50 to 60% power saving can happen. So these are all the various facets available to us when we design the equipment, or when we design the process, or design the building, and when we operate it, then what more we can do to reduce the energy consumption. And I would like to give you some of the example for net zero carbon positive building company and country. So the first building, net carbon positive building, was at Hyderabad, Sorabji Godrej Green Business Center, which is now first platinum rated green building in India and net zero energy building. They doesn't consume any energy from the grid. ITC is one of the company in India, although now several companies are there which are net zero, but ITC, if you see, it is also carbon positive company. Means they whatever carbon dioxide they generate, their CO2 emission is now compensated by forest or tree plantation or various energy efficiency measure taken, as well as they are now net water positive company, so that they do not consume any external water. And there are now more companies are joining this brigade. This is almost 10 years back. ITC have achieved that status, but now many more companies are joining this brigade. Bhutan, you know, it is a carbon negative country. So whatever carbon they produce by their activity, their trees and other plantation make that country carbon negative. So there are several impact of the energy conservation and energy efficiency. Perhaps you see, now I would like to tell you that what chemical engineer can do. See, chemical engineer is a driver for energy efficiency, and we are given the tool. Say there is a exam conducted by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency for the energy auditor. If you can successfully clear this energy auditor exam, that too after few years of the job, then perhaps you can be certified energy auditor and you can contribute to the company, because now it is a mandatory for the companies to hire at least 1 or 2 energy manager or energy auditor depending on their energy consumption. Second is ISO 50000 auditor. That also perhaps offers some good career option. So in my opinion, this energy audit, energy conservation is one of the good career option for the chemical engineer, and you can look for it and try to find out whether you can get that role or not. So ultimately, I would like to conclude that we see only what it melt in front of us. That is the ice cream, but we don't see the various iceberg melting at the various poles, both the poles, and perhaps we have to start looking at it. Thank you very much. Any question, please?
Audience? No questions? Hello? I think we are at the end of the session. And first of all, I would like to say thank you to Joy sir for always supporting IICHE Students Chapter GEC Bharuch and always easily approachable to us. Sir is always helping IICHE Students Chapter and guiding us. Thank you very much, sir, for it. I would like to express sincere thanks to sir for sharing his practical experience and India's strategies towards climate change. Sir, I request you to write a book on your practical experience related to these thoughts, so which will be helpful to our faculties as well as students also. And it is well said that no plant can run without energy. Chemical engineers are drivers and they have to think about energy saving, green building formation, zero carbon emission. These concepts are to be really implemented by chemical engineer. Sir has very well explained energy auditor, energy manager course. That is nothing but showing them direction that they can work in this field also. Thermal energy saving and electrical energy saving can also be practiced by chemical engineer. Green building, you generate biogas at the building, use it for cooking purpose, use renewable energy for day-to-day requirement. So these concepts should be implemented. That is what sir has guided. Sir has also guided about energy pyramids, pinch analysis, self cleaning exchangers, and light color paints, how to save energy, energy efficiency, how to increase energy efficiency. That is what he has guided in a lucid way with practical examples. We are very much thankful to you, sir, for sharing practical experience and always easily available and approachable to us as a IICHE Students Chapter Coordinator. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your expert talk. We are really blessed with your presence.
Thank you so much.
It was my
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable presence. It's a pleasure for us to hear you for this session, and you have nicely explained about that industrial environment also, where all the participants can explore that kind of ideas. So thank you so much once again, sir, for your presence. Thank you.
It was my pleasure, and wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Today's session is over. We'll meet tomorrow. Thank you all the participants for a patient hearing.
Thank you,
Okay,
ma'am.
sir.